So now, look at Survivor is back. Survivor Now podcast. We got another episode, the after show. And let me tell you something. It wouldn't even be an after show right now if it weren't for these two right here. Jake and Bruce is in the house tonight. So I want to give a little round of applause. There we go. There we go. My main man Josh is here from the Survivor Now podcast team. We're gonna get into it, man. This was a different type of episode. This is a different type of episode. But before we do that, how you two gentlemen doing?
I'm doing good. I moved out of grandma's house and I'm moving into Bruce's house.
My daughter's room too.
What is
What is it with you and Pink, Jake?
I like pink. Real men like pink, right? Isn't that the same?
That's right.
Look,
that's right.
Real men can wear any color they want to, so we're not even worried about that. Because Bruce didn't paint the walls in the background behind him, so we're not even worried about that part.
I actually did, Abraham.
Look, man, Bruce, after the last episode with you, man, I can't look. They did did you see the little dragon? They dragged little Rome. Randy was wrong for that, but it was too funny. Every time I saw it, it was funny. But hey, looking at this episode from yesterday, first of all, Bruce, where were you at yesterday? I saw you on social media.
I was at the RHAP last night with my man Jake. We were there last night in New York City, and say it properly, New York City, and it was just a dang good time. We were up very late, chilling, and the alum from Survivor was there. A bunch of alum from Survivor, great fans. People just willing to have a great conversation and just keep this thing going, just keep it all alive. Rob says, you did a great job last night, my man. Sam put it all together. Like, it's just, everything was done very, very well.
This is an amazing community, man. It's amazing to be a part of it. It's amazing to see some of the things that we get to do as part of the alumni. And it continues to grow. Yeah. Our new family, season 47, is in full effect. Last night we saw something new. What do you think about how they led up to the new twist in Survivor?
I mean, it was technically a new twist, and it was interesting, and it was good. I think the amount of hype, brand new, never before seen twist that they advertised in the trailer, and then again, like at this big hyped thing, like before the commercial break, and then cut to a commercial break. I don't know if the level of hype matched the actual twist, but I did enjoy it. It was interesting. It was new. It was fresh. It was fun to see everybody come together.
The squeeze wouldn't worse the juice.
I mean, it was. I don't know if it would go that far because I'm glad they did it. It's better than nothing. I just don't think it was worth it.
Well, Jake, you've been a part of the pre-merge and the merge group. How does it feel to be in that pre-merge group, counting down? So 2 more people get eliminated or 3 more people get eliminated. They're going to make the merge. What was your mindset? Because I'm looking at how Andy is playing the game right now.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, you just want to be able to set the anchor down and like, okay, I made it this point, right? Obviously, you go in wanting to win, but when you're looking at the merge, it's like, oh my God, just let me get there at this point. Let me get there, And looking at Andy, I thought Andy had an amazing episode. I would really like to see someone dispute that, because I think he's on the up and up right now. It's really cool to see someone like Andy mess up so early, and now he has a lot of time to make up ground. It looks like he's doing that. I think the interesting thing to see about Andy moving forward, and especially at this point in the game, is he going to be able to repair his image to the other tribes now that they're merging next week? Because he seems like he's in a solid spot right now. Like, even if they went to another tribal, I don't think there is another tribal based before the merge based on the commercial, but I don't think he'd go next route if they if Gata had to do another tribal.
Now, awesome. Bruce want to slow raise his hand.
Tell him to slow put it back down.
Look. There you go, Bruce. You're on the big screen now.
Let me tell you. So, as far as for the good thing about this podcast, Jake, is that we push back all the time on each other. And we laugh and we giggle, but then we also have to prove our point if we're going to push back. Andy had, if TV time in general was 64 minutes, Andy had probably 1 minute, 17 seconds of a good episode. He threw the ball, couldn't get the ball in the hoop. He's humping the air, doing the soaring and all that other good stuff, which not for nothing. It's nothing against him. It's what the edit says. The edit showed that. So to
It's a
say
great
he
gift.
had an episode, I understand where you come from because what he had said was the plan, this, that, and the other. I really do think that they were looking to get I'm sorry, I got no sleep last night. Who got voted off last night?
We got Sam over there. We got
Hanukkah. They were looking to get her voted off anyway. Like she was. They were looking to get her voted off as it is, and it just so happened that I think that Andy was picking up what they were putting down, maybe a little subconsciously, and then was like, "Hey, guess what? I got an idea for you." But he's one of those players. You can get rid of him at any time, just not right now. Like we'll just Annika rubbed people the wrong way. I think at some point in time we won't get over it. But and also remember what Andy did at the challenge. Nobody's forgetting that. Nobody's forgetting that.
Nobody.
They gotta go back.
But it was the first challenge. Like, yeah, no one's forgetting Emily Flippin's day one, but Emily Flippin absolutely put herself back into a spot to be able to win if she's sitting in the final 3 chairs. Like, he does have to massage his image. Are people going to forget it? Honestly, no. But I do think even if he gets to the end, that's going to be a great point in regards to selling his story on why he should win.
Here's a question for you, Jake.
Mm-hmm.
Andy on cutting the rope and Rome on not doing not one piece of the puzzle. Who are you taking after the merge?
So wait, say the question again. The challenges between Andy and Rome.
Out of the challenge, you got Rome that didn't get one piece of the puzzle. Didn't do one piece of the puzzle, and you got Andy that had a backwards sewing method that wasn't working. After the merge, who you going with?
Like as an alliance member or vote?
Yeah, as an alliance member, because it's obvious that they're not performing.
I don't care if they're not good at challenges. Like, I mean, number one, don't put Rome on the puzzle. If Rome's not good at puzzles, don't put him on puzzles. Andy, yeah, I mean, there was like, I think it's one of those things. It's like anyone could have messed that saw thing up. I really believe that. I don't think it's in particular Andy. Anyone could have messed that saw.
Jake, no, Jake.
I'm not good at challenges either. But I would say moving down the line, I think I'd rather work with someone like Andy than Rome, per se. Just based on the edit and based on what these players are offering to the table. You see Andy continually, how can I build trust with people? And you know, he's the George Costanza. He keeps fumbling over himself a little bit. But there's a constant effort and a constant plan to keep doing things that I appreciate, and I think it's gonna help him going down the line.
Okay, Josh, who you voting out of between Rome and Andy at a merge based off performance only? Here's the thing about the Saw thing, Jake. You know, we know some things. Come on, turn this thing around. You know what a blade side look like. Stop playing.
But are you looking up into the sun though? They do that earlier. We don't know.
The safety guy probably came out and said, "Hey guys, sharp side, dull side. Watch out for the sharp side." And he's not paying attention. He's like, why is it like not doing anything? Like he's going through the walkthrough. He's going through it. You know that.
And when, like Sam said, they did.
Who cares about challenge performance? Who even cares about challenge performance going into merge? Like I understand, like you want your team to win immunity or your alliance to win immunities, but it's like, is it that deep? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you get voted ex Annika. You think Annika was like,
I mean, that was the difference. Like they lost that challenge by a couple seconds, and you know, sawing it the wrong way. Like theoretically, I mean, you don't know how much they got in their heads with falling behind or whatever, but like a couple seconds was the difference between a win and a loss for them. It's a couple seconds is the difference between Annika making the merge and not making the merge. So yeah, as pre-merge, I don't want that Andy performance on my side. But to answer your original question, Abraham, post-merge, I think I'd definitely rather take Andy with me than Rome because Rome is way more of a flight risk, way more of a wild card. You don't know where he's going to go. He could, go in any different direction. I don't know how reliable he is. Like Andy, what we're being presented with right now is that Andy's like a little bit sloppy in his gameplay, but he's a huge fan, has a good head for the game, knows how these things go. And when he's playing from the bottom, he knows that he can't he's going to be a little bit more reliable because he's playing from a place of like being more like in debt, if you will. So yeah, I'd 100% rather go with Andy going forward at this point than
Let's
Rome.
jump over to Louisville. Who's running Louisville now?
Which tribe is that?
No. Who's running the Red Tribe? Is it
Red.
Genevieve or is it Rome? Who's running that tribe? Is it Soul? Who's running
this
that
a question?
tribe now? That's a question. Who's running the tribe?
Oh, it's Genevieve. Genevieve's running the tribe. Like, right? Is this a question?
That's a question.
Yeah, I think
week one, 2, and 3, it was like, okay, we don't know who's doing what. Week 1, 2, and 3, you just see the nuisance of Rome, and it's like, okay, so they're like, no one's really stepping up to that spot as far as from running the tribe. But then now the last 2 weeks is Genevieve all day, day, like 100%. She's running what she's doing, almost whatever she wants to do. And then Rome. If you remember, Rome took a little bit of a step back, like with the energy wise. He took the step back. He's talking to Saul. He's like, trying to mend fences, this, that, and the other. And then they show the preview for the next season. Oh, I'll cut his head off, like whatever. I'll eat his bones or some shit like that. What is going on? Like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like somebody's got to get the meds right. Like it just doesn't seem right.
In the back tent. Now, here's a question for you. Now, looking at the way Genevieve has started to fashion the tribe, is it too much too soon? Because if she makes it to merge and her tribe gets decimated, the jury won't have enough people on there to tell her story. So does she need to pull back a little bit and let Rome take the lead? That way he gets hit with everything going into the merge?
I think I don't think Genevieve really has to pull back at this point, just because I think looking at the way the last 2 votes for like Asia going and then Keyshawn going, I don't think she's standing out as, the last thing that happened, that was Genevieve's move. I don't think people are giving Genevieve credit as much as they're giving credit to Rome, because Rome played the advantage in that last Keyshawn tribal. And what we're seeing from Rome, Saul, and Tini is that they are all just like, I feel the most comfortable with Genevieve. And it's not necessarily Genevieve's in charge, but it's like, this is the person I want to talk to. Yeah. Where I feel like if you're looking on the outside looking in, you might think because Rome is very loud and outspoken that Rome's driving the ship, when in reality, it seems to be Genevieve.
Hey, Bruce, what do you think about Tini's game so far?
Poor thing. I feel bad for her because she left out in a vote. And, she was there when Saul, when the drag moment almost happened, when Saul could have dragged
Jake wasn't here for that one.
Jake wasn't here for that. I think I filled you in on a little bit, Jake, real life. I think she's like, you can't even say she's in the middle because she has sway either side. She's like a bottom run right now with her tribe, and it's like, okay, we're just we like you, so we're not gonna really target you, but you have almost no say in what we got going on. Like that's how I feel about it, because she like in her confessional, she's like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Like, what's going on with this? I was left out of this vote. Like that all in itself, like when you're doing your confessionals, that takes a little bit of toll on you. So mentally, it's going to be giving herself a little bit of self-doubt. But then looking at the edit, it's like, okay, yeah, she's there. If they need her, they'll go to her. But right now, they're just like, let's just have her at arm's length.
So, Josh, you think she has something to turn around, or when the merge comes, she's gone?
Or Tini?
Yeah, Tini. She got something to turn around. Can she turn her game around right now?
Oh, I think definitely she can. I think going on that reward by herself without anyone else from her tribe was probably best case scenario for Tini, because they just got left out of the vote on the bottom, and this opportunity to make friends. Clearly, Tini's got a great social game. Like people really like them, trust them, want to be around them. So I think that Tini definitely has options going forward, and it was a great time to make perfect timing for Tini to make some of these new friends. And even if they were to sorry, what?
I'm sorry, she's got to make it to these people first. We don't. Yes, drop your buffs. That doesn't mean you're merging.
Nope.
Yeah, just means that they're doing something that we don't like to see. Not like to see, but we'd rather not.
One more person going home.
Like to see it. Yeah. But I do think that even if the Red Tribe had lost, Tini, it wasn't necessarily guaranteed that Tini was going to go. It seemed like no matter what happened, whoever Genevieve decided wanted to go was probably going to go, because the other three were not going to like work together. The other three were so Tini, Saul, and Rome were so like split up and like fragmented that they were never going to like form any other sort of plan outside of what Genevieve wanted.
So let's take it back around to the reward challenge, because we all saw the hype up. This is going to be a new twist. It's never been done in Survivor before. Get ready for it. So we get to the challenge. You're going to be divided into 2 teams. The winner gets to go to this mythical sanctuary, which I never saw the sanctuary, so I don't know what it looks like. The mythical sanctuary. You're wrong for that one, Bruce, but that's all right. I'm still buy you a drink when I see you. You get to go to the sanctuary. You get to have a social hour. And who thinks that this challenge and the way they crafted it adds a whole nother dimension to the game of Survivor now? Because you get to actually cross paths with more people without going on an actual one of those trips.
I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's one of those things that it might not been. It probably wasn't as dynamic as maybe we want it to be right now, but I think it's one of those things that'll pay off in a couple episodes. My only real critique of the twist itself is that I almost wish they did it one episode earlier. I mean, I know they couldn't just because of the odd numbers, but like have someone sit out and pick what team they think is going to win. But if you have 2 vote outs prior to merge or mergatory, whatever it's going to be, you can kind of cross-reference more stories, and I think that leads to more potential tension. Just in terms of like a game maker view, you know what I mean? But I really like it, and I hope it will pay off. I hope it's not a dud, but that remains to be seen. I think it needs a little better branding. I don't know if Survivor Social is the best game, but I like limited food. I would have given him like I don't know, something else, because you're gonna have that merch feast coming up at least for half the people. But I like it a lot.
They took our copyright. We're gonna get that back. Survivor
right? That's screen right now.
Here's the thing. So now you got the trials separated by randomness. Bruce, are you gonna capitalize on that and get ready for the merge, or are you just gonna really go over there and cook them hot dogs?
Again, this comes down to the situation that when Drew said to me, "Is like bad gameplay," because I didn't really spill a lot of beans in regards to what was going on with the tribe. I just wanted to kind of get an idea of what's going on with them. And Jake, you correct me if I'm wrong. I came back with some information. I don't think I came back with a lot. But it was already kind of stuff that we already knew. We already knew that the Yellow Tribe was an absolute mess. We needed to be able to figure out a little bit more about Reba, because we were more worried about kind of Reba in our scopes. But I don't know. I just think that I think it was okay. I think they're just giving information that they already knew, and then but the thing in regards to Sam and Sierra, them picking that up from another tribe and saying that, hey, like you guys are blah, blah, blah. And then now they're freaking out in regards to that. Like that's something that maybe could be, I guess you can call it a hot take for the other tribe to be right on, that they look like those two are running the show, but that's going to hurt them later on. Like that's the only thing I can ever see about this Survivor Social part of it, is how it's going to hurt other tribes if there's a strong alliance in one. So now,
looking from the way it broke down, did we? Well, you know what? I got a message for Jake. I got to share it for you, Jake. There you go, right there. J.E. says Jake was my 45 winner pick.
Thanks, Jake. Sorry to disappoint.
We got Melissa out there. Thanks for sharing. She said no interest in seeing where Andy's game goes once we head into the merge.
Yeah.
Now, hey, Josh, we go to it. We got it. We won it. We're going to go to the sanctuary. Who you think capitalized on it, and who you think came out the worst and just did a poor job of that opportunity?
From what we've seen so far, it seems like Tiana did the worst with, throwing Gabe under the bus in front of Sue, at least, who considers Gabe her number one. If it were just like her and Kyle, or maybe her and Caroline, she probably could have gotten away with that. But I think she definitely misjudged Sue and Gabe's relationship. And obviously Sue went back to Gabe, and even after they talked, Sue went and cross-referenced their conversation. So yeah, I don't know. Doing that with 3 other members from your tribe and putting out some real juicy information for everybody else to pick up on was a gamble, and it seems like so far it kind of plummeted her stock a little bit. So yeah. Yeah, she broke. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how she can recover, but oh man, if she's on the losing side of the or in the merge nonsense next week, I definitely can see her going next.
Do we see anybody that came out of that little get together and is like, okay, you're in a better position once we merge?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm sorry, I just have to get this off my chest. We're talking about the loser in this whole thing. It wasn't any of the players; it was production. It was production with the hot dog, and then whatever the hell they gave to Kyle. That was I'm sorry. Just the optics of it, hey, get a hot dog, and like it was said last night at the RHAP, where are the condiments at?
One singular hot dog without condiments, that's pretty brutal. If I go to someone's house and they just have one hot dog per person without any condiments, nothing else that's pretty rough.
You know what have almost been more better for this? I understand you don't want to give them a whole merge feast. I kind of almost wish they did what they did in our season with the chicken. You know what I mean? You just have a rotisserie chicken. That's it. But something kind of basic. I maybe it's just hot dog was a bad choice because it inherently, where's all the fixins, Jeff? Is this all the fixins?
We're not showing all that.
Sanctuary,
You're getting this crazy looking hot dog, and you're gonna get this. I didn't even see a bun, so I don't even know if they had buns. So I don't even know.
They had
buns.
Hey,
what bun is dog?
Jake, they loving you in the chat, man. They loving you in the chat, guy. I gotta put it out there.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. I looked at the whole challenge. They act like there's no food in Fiji. Stop playing like there's no food or a grocery store in Fiji. There are grocery stores in Fiji. Go get some real food. Have a real social event. Some hamburgers and hot dog, veggie burgers, whatever. But let's do it right. Quit playing like there's no food there.
I don't know. It's just it was a weird middle point. It's either go all in and give them food or give them something really basic. Really basic.
Hey,
but
Bruce,
this just seems like a weird middle ground.
Cheese sandwich or something.
Here's a question here's a question for you, Bruce.
It's Jake, correct me if I'm wrong. Whenever we would sit there before a challenge, before we would leave the beach, I always had a mantra we needed to have something in our system. So I would open up. There was kind of my thing. I went over. I opened up 2 or 3 coconuts quickly. We opened them up. We had the juice inside. We drank the juice, so we had at least something. We had energy going into them. So when it came down to when we merged, I noticed a little bit of something in myself as to where, yes, I wasn't eating the way that I was eating at Bello before we left for any of these little adventures that we went on. So it does affect you physically, and I think I think mentally as well, but more physically because, you get there and you're running on something. You're running on adrenaline. But once that adrenaline kind of dumps and it's gone, now you're just depleted. So, you could be starving and go into one of these, challenges. You come around the corner, you look at it, your adrenaline kind of gets you through that point in time. It's the after effect, too, that you got to worry about by eating. So it does affect you a little bit.
So the first part of the challenge, everybody's ready to play. But when you get to that last part and you start them coconuts, them bags, all that stuff is heavy. So when you future players that go out there and play Survivor, understand this, it's all heavy. So we go to the sanctuary. We have some kumbaya. We see some people that's leaking information like a sieve. Now you got to deal with your tribe when you get back. Now, Sue dime dropped immediately. She goes to Gabe and says, hey, here's what Tini said about you at the actual event. Do you fess up to it? Now, here's a problem with her not fessing up to it the right way. We also had, who else was there with them? Caroline. Mm-hmm. Caroline's there talking about, hey, you need to apologize. Would you apologize, Jake? If Bruce came and said, hey, would you apologize?
If I'm Tiana?
Yeah, or you apologize.
I mean, you really have to at that point. Like, if someone's telling you to do it, like, hey, that information's gonna get back to Gabe, you have to do it in some kind of way, right? Because it's better than the Cold War. It's just, I don't know at that point, what is Tiana supposed to do other than apologize? Like, it's gonna get back to Gabe. I think Caroline did the best I think she took the most advantage out of the whole Survivor social reward, just in terms of Tiana definitely now feels closer to her, as you know, it seems like Caroline's kind of reaching out some kind of lifeline to her. Also, like, builds a relationship with Gabe, and she comes across as a super reliable person when she's actually really doesn't really care about Tiana as much, I don't think. But yeah, Tiana,
once you
I
put
think
that staple on your back of pettiness, they got her.
What was
that was the funny part about it is she went with saying, "Hey, I don't really want to apologize, but for my game, I'm going to apologize."
Yes.
And then she said, "I only told 2 people."
Yeah.
Now, Josh, I'm gonna put you on the hot seat with a question from Jay. From Jay, Josh. He says, "I think Tiana may have ended up being the merge boot since she's showing disunity within the tribe." You agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I said if she's on the losing side next week, she definitely could be because of how the tide's turning against her that way. I do think, like Jake said, you definitely have to apologize when you're put in that situation, and only kind of sort of telling what happened and not telling the whole truth. I think that was a mistake too. I think you got to fully lean into it. You got to say everything you did. And even if listen, I publicly put Gabe's name out there so that everyone is going to be, hopefully writing against him. You got to lean into that. You got to stay in your lane and be like, yeah, Gabe, this is what I did. Sorry. And you can backpedal as much as you want, but know in the back of your mind, yeah, Gabe's coming after me, so I might as well openly be coming after him. Once that rolls around, which is super risky. Don't know if I would recommend that, but I think the kind of the backpedaling, kind of half-assed nature of her owning up to what she did wasn't
half-assed.
But
well, hold on.
Even if she full-assed it, she's still gonna get screwed.
Yeah,
it doesn't. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. It doesn't matter if first off, don't tell me to apologize to someone for something that I said. Don't do that. The reason being is because I said it. So I can either live or die by it. If it's already out there, it doesn't matter if Sue came back and lied and said, "Yo, Gabe, you have no idea what was said in regards to you," and she could have embellished it, but a couple of different things on there. Now Tiana's going to be in the hot seat anyway. Yeah. And then for someone to come and say, "Hey, you got to apologize." This is my game. I'm not apologizing for anything. I am sorry. So if I said something and if it got back to that person, then that person comes to me, not everybody else. If that person comes to me and says something and we just saw it, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If she didn't go and apologize and he knows it, he's going to still know it. He's still going to have that information. If you go and apologize, whether you lied to you to steal about the apology, you're still going to be in the freaking hot seat. So hell with it. Don't go I would much rather see someone take an old school tact when it comes to that. Yeah. On multiple sides. One of them is if you hear that somebody said something and if they're your ally, keep them as your ally, but know that information in the back of your head that they could get got at any point in time because of what was said before. So let it just let the chips fall as they may, because for Caroline, nothing was going to affect Caroline at all. Because she's in with Sue, she's in with Gabe, she's fine. So to tell Tiana to go and do that, maybe it was strategic. And if Caroline, hey, if you're watching, if you meant to have her go and tell him to help blow her game up so she can get voted out at some point in time before you, hey, good job.
Survivor's about pettiness. So there's a certain level of pettiness with the game.
I think Gabe is a lost cause for Tiana at that time. I don't think there's anything that she can do to build that back up. But I think in terms of, number one, Caroline looks like, hey, Tiana, I'm on your side. I want to help you out with this. Great move by Caroline. But also, I don't believe it's just a wash for Tiana to go apologize to Gabe. If Tiana goes and apologizes to Gabe and takes the advice of Caroline, that's going to signal to Caroline, Tiana really cares about what I have to say and what I have to think. Obviously, Gabe is a lost cause anyway, but I think it's good on Tiana to gain ground with Caroline. I think she did that. And just based on her actions through this. And I think that's
so. If she turned around and she looked at Caroline and she said, "Yo, I'm not apologizing for shit. Like I didn't have to apologize to him. Like I said it. Like it is what it is. Like you and I are tight. We're good. We're not going to apologize to him for." What's Caroline?
But you don't. But if Tiana doesn't do that and Tiana gives that response versus Caroline, I didn't think about that. You're right. Like you. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. You're right. You seem flexible to the other person, and
I'm gonna say this.
Okay. Tiana's someone who is going to listen to me and also we're going to be able to work together in that kind of manner. So, I think
Tiana used to fight playing volleyball. She seemed like she would put hands on some people. I ain't saying she do. I'm just saying she came off like, who you talking to? Okay. Here's a part of the game, which I don't know what's going on with Jeff these days. Jeff is on some different stuff now. 47 might have changed him a little bit. As we go into the challenge, the immunity challenge, Tribe said, look, we can't mess with these chickens no more. These chickens ain't about our life. They bring the chickens back, and they offer Jeff in exchange for the chicken. For you two previous players, are you exchanging the chickens?
No. I mean, here's why I say no. Because Bruce would absolutely kill the chicken, and I would absolutely let him kill the chicken. Am I killing the chicken? No. Bruce would, and I'd be okay if he did.
It would be like a bare knuckle fight. Like I would grab that chicken by the I'd be like, hey, I would chase people around the damn island with their chicken's head. Like, hey, the body's gonna stop in a second, but check this out. Like, and then we'd be like, I already said it last week. There's fucking feathers just flying everywhere. I would look like what's his name? With the feather in his head. They would just be all over me. Philip. I would be Philip, but I would be drenched in feathers.
So you should have had that chicken when she made that laugh about that red paint. Josh, would you kill the chicken, or will you look to make the deal for the 18 eggs?
Oh, 100%.
Before you answer, remember, you're going to be a future Survivor player, and this might come up in real life. So go ahead.
I did listen to Annika's exit interviews, and she did say it was a little more complicated than that because, like, you know, the machete was dull, and they didn't have the best stuff to make it, and it was all
machete to kill no chicken.
Put the muscle into it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what she said. I'm just telling you what she said. So, like, it kind of made sense hearing what she said. That being said, I definitely would have killed him right away, taken the protein, and not had to, especially when you're that close to merge, like take it all for yourself now, and then you don't have to share it with all those other people. So yeah, immediate with 3 chickens, like I think they got them day 8. Let's 1 chicken a day, and just take it, and you know.
I might speak wrong of chickens. I might speak wrong of chickens, but I got a little chicken experience. Bruce, I know about that. Bring it. I don't need no machete. Bring that neck off. Hit him in that hot water. Put him in that hot water. Get the feathers off. Put him on that little stick. Anyway. I digress. Here's the thing. You're going to get 18 eggs. Where are you going to keep 18 eggs at? Even if you ball 18 eggs, where you going to store them at?
I literally saw them put them in the pot, right? And I thought back to maybe a week ago. I had 4 eggs inside of the carton that I left out for about an hour and a half. I threw them away. Like, I didn't want, like, they're just sitting there. I don't know how long eggs last sitting in heat and whatever. Bye.
Yeah, I don't know about the heat, but I've gotten farm fresh eggs before because I know someone who like has chickens and they give eggs, and they say when you have the eggs, you can until you wash them, you can leave them at a room temperature. But then once you wash them and you get like some sort of protective surface off of it or whatever, then you have to refrigerate it. But I don't know about how the heat works. The eggs, you can eat them room temperature.
Hey, Josh, I want you to remember all this stuff because we're going to be sitting at home looking at you talking about, remember that dude on the podcast? He was lying. He's about to die.
Why is he
we're gonna see Survivor 49. Josh is gonna be on. We're gonna see him wash eggs. We're gonna go, whoa, what are you doing, buddy?
Stop washing eggs, man.
Oh man.
Hey, hold on.
Yeah, we'll see.
Did y'all hire somebody to get in the chat for you too? What's going on? Do you not see me with the 50 shirt on? I got the 50 shirt on. Here we go. Stop playing. I'm about to ban Jake from comments. So we get the chickens. They make this crazy deal with Jeff, which I don't understand how he came from 25 eggs to 18 eggs. Here's another interesting thing. You got the chickens. Really, all you had to do is separate the chickens from each other in a little space, and they wouldn't have broke the eggs that they laid. You can't keep them in that little bitty cage, but I digress on that one too. We got a chicken incident. We're gonna call it Chicken Gate. So on Chicken Gate, we get a chicken back, we get the eggs. Now we got the challenge coming up. I love a good challenge. Love a good challenge. How do we feel about that challenge after we go through the whole chicken conversation?
Can I just say they did a great editing moment where Jeff started to explain the challenge, and then they stopped the explanation of the challenge because the chicken was biting Sierra. I don't think they've ever like stopped an explanation of a challenge on an episode before, but I loved it. I thought it was hilarious.
And then started it back up again from the same spot. Like that made from the beginning.
All right, we're gonna take that back. We're gonna run that back and just start it over. I love that. I thought that was hilarious. I thought the challenge was cool too. I kind of like the. Obviously, there's the really funny gif of Andy trying to saw the rope. Now that's really funny. That's a great gif.
Jake, come on, Jake. Hold up, Jake. We're gonna stop there for a minute.
What?
There is no way that he didn't know to turn that around. It's no way. Was it a plan?
It wasn't even. They probably told him 2 seconds after he did it. It probably took 2 seconds. He flipped it around, and then if you see the rope, I'm gonna defend Andy on this one. Okay, yeah, the first 2 seconds, flip the thing around. But what took him a long time is that it looked like the rope came off and went like over the wood. I think you're supposed to saw the rope on the wood, but it went kind of over, so it was just going back and forth and not necessarily sawing.
Now, here's another question, because was this a strategy by Sam? Because he's taller. Why didn't he step up?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because if you go back to,
I think that everybody had their arms fully extended and they were all sawing. So I don't think it really would have mattered if I understand anything. I think they might have designated who was going to be sawing, and then they adjusted their pole accordingly.
Because this is going to factor into as they go through this challenge. That time was needed. So we go through the challenge. Now here's for you fans at home what you don't know. When they get to the puzzle wall after dragging that bag, Bruce, tell me how you feel after dragging that bag, after seeing them drag that bag.
After having had drug a bag with Jake, if you remember that, my man, you are beyond dead. And what they had to go over, Jake, if you remember, what they had to go over, ours was probably raised up another 6 inches. To pull those bags and get them over where they needed to be, it's you are gassed. You are just gassed because you're hoping. Ready, Jake? You're hoping that everybody is pulling their own weight.
No, not.
Some are not.
Well, I really, here's the thing with the bag. It's doable. Like the bag is doable. The bag is really heavy. I think what really worked for us, like when we did it specifically, is you just need to call it just 1, 2, 3, pull, 1, 2, 3, pull, and just get into a rhythm. Because it's doable regardless. Like if you're Jonathan Young or like, I don't know, David Wright, like you can do it. You know what I mean? Anyone can do it. Any configuration of people can actually do it. It's hard. But yeah, after you do it, you definitely gassed.
Well, the problem on my team was they said 1, 2, 3, and half of them pulled, half of them didn't. That weight didn't change. It was like dragging a dead body up in there. It was killing us. And it's hot out there. So, okay, Josh, you get to the end of that. You pull it, you get to it. Now you got to get these sandbags out. And you throw the first sandbag and it bounces off the wall. Did you just say, wait a minute, let me get another one? What did you just like? What is that wall made of?
I know. I would definitely. They looked harder to knock over than you would think from looking at it. But yeah, no, I definitely would get back up and just throw it harder, aim more. That's the sort of thing I would have a hard time like tagging out of that. Like if I were in that, I would want to just like keep chucking them until it was done.
Did they make them have to keep alternating?
They did.
Did they?
I think so because I remember when Kendra and I were throwing the coconuts. We had to alternate. That we couldn't just go back to back to back. We had to keep alternating.
Yeah, because Saul went out there and threw, roamed through. I don't remember.
Yeah, maybe they. Yeah, you know what? I think they might have been like alternating 1 and 1. But yeah, I think it was probably just 2 of them from each tribe who are on, sandbag duty.
I was kind of surprised by like how heavy those blocks clearly were because I think Tiana threw the first one, and like she's clearly an athletic woman, and like just it looked like she like really whipped the thing and nothing really moved. It was like, ooh,
I know.
Oh, this is
And they look pretty
difficult.
gassed too, because they were throwing it
Yeah.
really hard. And
Oh,
they
yeah.
looked really gassed at the end.
They
And-
just finished dragging those bags.
Yeah,
They just
yeah,
finished dragging
yeah,
bags.
yeah. And the thing that struck me too is like how low to the ground the stack was, because at the end, like Saul and Rome, they like knocked all the blocks off, but because they were so low to the ground, the blocks had already fallen off or in the way. It's like, man, I mean, I bet production did that on purpose. But if they were just lifted up like 6 inches higher, then it would have been, a little bit easier to get them all off.
I liked it though. I liked how close the challenge was.
Oh yeah.
I don't know that last pot. I don't know if it's editing or whatever. It's definitely actually really odd. But I liked that the end was actually difficult and it didn't end in a puzzle. It's something different, which I thought was a lot of fun.
Here's what I thought was kind of odd. Now, are we saying that Saul, even though he tripped falling backwards, when we did ours, like when you called to check the puzzle and he said it's good, it was over. It wasn't go back to the mat. So I thought that was kind of different to say you had to go back to the mat. I wonder, did they just interject that in there at that time? Because it worked. Because it's saying, hey, because Saul falls, and now you're saying, hey, you got to go back to the mat. But I know before it was like, hey, as long as it's completed and Jeff said it's done, you're done. So that was the first time.
Well, I think because Jeff, every other challenge it's usually with the puzzle. And when you have the puzzle, it's usually 2 people doing it. This was everyone doing it. Everybody had the ability to put this thing back together. So now with that, that's probably the reason why they had them go back to the mat, so that they can kind of, because when it's just the puzzle, there's 2 people there. Jeff. They don't have to go back to the mat. This was everyone, so they probably just made them go back to the mat to do that.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did Luvu run back? I don't remember Luvu running back.
Good question.
It was awesome.
Do you think, is it possible that they added that in like mid-challenge just because it was Gata was so close? They were right there from what it looked like on the screen. And just like, oh, it's too close. Just run back. Just get back to the mat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the way the edit looks is like they put that last piece up and they were just ready to call for Jeff. And then you cut back. It was like, oh, y'all need to get back to the mat too.
Yeah.
So it just kind of looked like they should have. But I'm with you, Jake. I thoroughly enjoyed that competition at the end, and them really having to fight to win, because now it sets up for Andy. But before we get in there, I got to do a commercial break. That's what they tell me I got to do. So I'm going to hit us with a quick break. Commercial break. It's only 41 seconds. If I can get the right button. Sorry, wrong commercial. I'm back.
Think you're the most knowledgeable Survivor superfan? Well, you can put that to the test with our Fantasy Survivor game. Welcome to Bracketology, fantasy sports for reality TV. We provide fantasy football style games for your favorite shows like Survivor and many more. We also have bracket style elimination challenges. Set your picks once for the whole season to see how your prediction skills fared. And don't forget to check out the season extras like contestant info, where you can see all the bios of each contestant, and our scoring recaps that are published each episode. Download the Bracketology mobile app or play on your computer at fantasy.bracketology.tv. It's entirely free to play, and you can win some awesome prizes. Good luck.
Where'd Abraham go? What the hell? All right, so just before we go any further, I just want to let you know, I just rewound the episode. We fast forwarded it. And I'm looking at it right now. They were all back on the mat. Jeff had ran over between them. There was a mat in front of the actual puzzle. So Jeff was looking. So they were already back at the mat. Jeff didn't have to tell them. They were right.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
It was just like it was an interesting twist to it. So
yeah,
we got the challenge done. We got a winner. We got a loser. Now we're going back to that. We didn't want to saw right, because that was the difference between that challenge right there. Now, me playing Survivor, I'm putting a target on your back for messing us up at the beginning. That's how I'm gonna play. I'm like, because it already speaks for itself. I don't have to speak to what we all saw. I'm just gonna kind of nudge it a little bit. I'm gonna disagree with Bruce on this one, because production, Bruce, stop it. I'm gonna put myself in the big screen. Here's the thing: production did an excellent job of crafting Andy's strategy. Drop that right there.
Okay.
Production. I mean, because think about it. We do the confessions. He had to have the right confession in there. He just had a good narrative that production put together that says he had a master plan. And then he laid out the master plan. because he went over there to Annika and them and said, "Hey, they're going to give me a name." They give him a name. It's Sam. He already says they're going to give him Sam. I'm like, wait a minute, how does he know that? My question is Andy a mastermind for this particular vote?
I mean, I'm good for Andy that they are giving him his flowers and like showing his strategic point of view, and he, was exhibiting some agency and not like being treated like a dodo like he was before. I don't know if that actually tipped the scales for anything, because Sam was already kind of sus of Annika, and it's not like. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think that they exploited that, being like, "Oh, Sam, you got to vote on Annika. She like threw your name out there." I don't think that happened. But even if it did, that was like, I don't know. That was already. I don't really think it changed anything. And like, yeah, he knew they were going to say Sam's name because, like, yeah, of course, like you're talking to the girl. The girls are together, so like if you're talking to the girls, I know they're not going to throw out one of their own. The only other option.
I thought they were the breadwinner.
Yeah, so like they're not gonna throw out one of their own names. So of course they're gonna say Sam's name. So that's not really, it doesn't really take a genius for Andy to figure that out. And again, I don't know how much it exactly tipped the scales, but like, it seemed like he was having fun. So good for him.
Yeah.
I think the thing with Andy, Andy's amazing in confessionals. He clearly has a mind for the game, and he understands where he's at, and that's super important. Understanding where you're at so you can make the maneuvers you need to make. I agree with Josh. I don't think anything Andy really did this episode is why he stayed over Annika. I think the story of Andy is everything he's done since day 3. And like that's really what I think saved his ass. Obviously, Annika and Sam are button heads a little bit. Yeah. But I think Andy does deserve a lot of credit because it's the long game, and you can't show that in one episode. They all know they're merging tomorrow, and like 2 people on this tribe made the determination that Andy's going to be more valuable to my game moving forward, and that doesn't happen like between a challenge and typically doesn't happen between a challenge and then tribal. He's playing the long game and he's doing well.
You know who should be mad right now? John Levitt. Because Andy's still playing. He should have threw Andy on the bus that first time and said, "Get on out of here." He'd have still been playing.
What I said? I said John Lovett's biggest mistake. John Lovett should have just cussed Andy out when Andy called him out.
Oh yeah,
it was John Lovett acted so appropriately. It did so well. Like, what if he told him to F off? You know what I mean? And they're like, "Oh yeah, John really doesn't like Andy. We can get Andy out of here. They're not in cahoots."
I mean, I was in here after the premiere saying like, okay, yeah, if the Yellow Tribe loses next week, like Andy's done. But if they keep winning, you never know what's going to happen because. Yeah. And then what do you know? Every 2 episodes, 2, 3, 4, they were laying the groundwork for how Andy was like building up some social capital and like getting in with Sam, and Sam was like raising more and more doubts about Annika and the girls and wanting to be in a better position, and the gift of those extra 7 days that he had really did help him out a lot. Again, I don't see a ton of win equity in Andy right now, but I definitely see him going deep into the game because he had that gift of time in the beginning.
He threw John on the bus. There you go, Bruce, on the big screen. Go ahead.
Andy is going to somehow, some way blow somebody's game up. Aside from
John said it just did that to Annika.
But I think Annika was already on her way out. She's already pissed off enough people, like in the game. She's already pissed off enough people. She's already rubbed people the wrong way. I think she's going. Like Andy's a lovable, and no disrespect to Andy, and I've always said it in having conversations with people. Can't say exactly who, but having conversations with people. When I talk about things like this, it's just the edit, not the human. The edit is showing him in a light of, okay, you're that lovable, I don't want to say idiot, but you're the lovable person that fumbles around and does like the soaring and the that and the other and throws the ball and misses altogether. Like, it's okay. You can be that. That is okay. Annika was annoying to people. And it was showed over and over and over again. Like me, when I was out there, I was annoying to people. If we were not winning, I was going home. I know that now for a fact. I was annoying.
You weren't annoying to me, buddy.
Look,
I
saw the whole season.
Right. But the fact of the matter is that Andy, and I do, from what I'm seeing, I could listen. I don't mind being wrong. My wife's upstairs, probably
Oh,
like,
great.
what did he just say? But I don't mind being wrong with this. But Andy is like, he's the guy right now that like, okay, I'm gonna hold on to him. Why not? He's not hurting anybody. He's not a threat to any of us. So we're gonna keep him. And that's why he's still there over Annika, because Annika was just probably a little bit more annoying to them, and she could have been maybe a little bit more strategic, but out loud. Like Andy talking to them was not then him being strategic to like the game planning and like being like a strategic mind on a regular basis. So I think that Andy's being kept around as opposed, to being the easy vote. Andy's an easy vote. And they just
and sometimes you keep the easy vote round too long, and then that becomes the third person. So we'll see. I just want to see how he does after the merge. Now I'm gonna say something, but I'm gonna preface it before I say it. In this sense, right here. So we got Annika. She loses her vote, so she can't vote. We got Caroline that's aligned with Annika. She votes for Andy.
Here, Rachel.
And then we got the two turncoats. We got Sierra and Sam sticking together.
Yep.
That moment that Annika realizes that she has been effectively blindsided. Looking at that, it just, she didn't think it was coming.
Yeah.
As a viewer, Josh, because the other three of us have lived through this already, but as a viewer, how do you think she felt?
Pretty pissed, pretty shocked, and good for her. She should be like I mean, it seems like she's been a fan for at least a few years, and she took time off work, took time out of her life, and trained and got all the doctor's appointments and got in shape, all that stuff to do that, and to just go home at your second tribal council right before the merge, blindsided by people you thought you trust, like. You should be pissed. Like I would be. Like anyone. I like that as a viewer, seeing people show that emotion, and it didn't cuss anybody out, but it was like really raw and real and understandable and memorable. Like I don't know. I like a good exit like that. People like Kelly from your guys' season. She got really famous with the What the Hell guys, but like before that, you have Michaela from Millennials Gen X and Natalia from David vs. Goliath as another one I thought of, who just have like really raw exits who are like showing their anger or frustration or whatever to the people who blindsided them. And I really liked, especially as she's walking out and they all wave and she's like, nah, like it can't, not even giving anything to you guys. I don't know. I loved it. Good, good for Annika for putting it all out there for us to feel with her. I thought it was great.
I loved it too. As soon as it happened, I turned to a couple people because there was a bunch of previous players. And I'm just like, she should be pissed. You know what I mean? She should be pissed.
That's a blindside.
If you get voted out, you're not pissed.
Yeah.
What are you doing there? You know what I mean? That's my personal opinion. If you're crying, pissed, whatever it is, you should have some kind of extreme, not like extreme reaction, but you should have an extreme reaction. Like if you're out there, you're trying to win and you lose, that's the exact opposite of what you want to happen. So honestly, I have a lot of respect for the way Annika felt in that moment because she was out there trying to play hard. And I think Annika's been a great character on TV. I saw her earlier today, and she only got one confessional in the episode. I was like,
and only one last week too.
Yeah, it was like I feel like she's had some. I've enjoyed her as a narrator when we have seen her on our screen, so it's a little disappointing to not get a little more Annika because she's out there. She's going to speak her mind, and that makes for great TV. Obviously, it's bitter in the ass here, but I have a lot of respect for the way Annika conducted herself out there, and it's unfortunate we're not going to get to see more of her.
Hey, Bruce, I got a different question for you because Jake jumped in on that question.
Sorry.
But this is a little bit more of a behind-the-scenes look at what transpires after we get voted out. But I had a quick question because somebody posted something that I didn't understand. They think Andy's getting the F5 plus edit. Does anybody know what that is?
I think that means he's at least making it to the final five.
Oh, hold on.
Okay.
Did everybody get that? Because I didn't get that.
The final five plus edit, yeah.
Like at least he's getting the final five at least.
I'm looking at the F5 button on my keyboard. Bruce, we're gonna give him a little bit of tea tonight. We're gonna give him a little bit of tea.
Refreshing.
Once you leave that area, your torch is snuffed. What is going through your mind as you walk down the path?
Why didn't I play my idol?
I didn't do that for that. But
I got roasted last night. About hitting my head. So anyway, no, it's you're walking down. I mean, Jeff snubbed my torch, and I turned and looked, whatever, and I started walking, and the only thing that brought levity to me walking down that little path, if you will, was there was a cat that was meowing the entire time during our traffic council. So I'm walking down that thing, and I'm just like, I feel it coming. I feel the emotion coming, and then I was just like, yeah, kitty. Like I kind of threw that out there, and that gave me literally maybe 3 steps worth of any kind of like feeling okay. And then once that 4th step hit, like now it's like, oh, wait a minute, hold on a second, and then you're back there, and I can speak to my experience. You're standing there, and then a couple of people from production come up and they're like, Bruce, we're rooting for you, man. Like it's great to see you back. And then I just started crying, like because then now it's like, oh shit, I was brought back for a reason, and hopefully I gave them enough ammunition for that reason to come true. But then I'm like, I had so much more that I could have done. And then you're sitting in that, you're doing your final confessional. And it's a whirlwind, and then they swoop you away. And I remember very vividly going into the tent, and I put my head down, and I sobbed for like maybe 10 seconds, and then I fell right asleep. I had to make myself go to sleep, and I like dozed right off. I had to, because that is a very, very emotional part. When I saw Annika walking, and she was crying like that, it's gut wrenching. It's gut wrenching because Jake, Abraham, it's like when your goal is now done, that 0-sum game that Jeff talks about literally just came true. And it's like, man, there's no way to get back in. There's no redemption island. There's none of that. Like you're walking down that path and it's over. So, but, yeah.
I thought I did everything in my game. I said I did everything that I wanted to do based off of how I prepared for the game. Yeah. Let's go.
I was about to say, what, you took the cellophane off the package and that was it?
Let me tell you something. My experience was way different. Jake, you never got to walk down the path, so that's why you didn't get to work yourself. We're not gonna let you in the group because you didn't walk down the path. You got to sit there and give a speech. So no, there's no path for you. You're right. Bruce is absolutely correct. You go into this game and you give it everything. Man, when I went to those challenge, I did a couple of, I gave everything. I left it all out there. And I was like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm the physical guy. I'm going to get this. I don't think I definitely never said this on a podcast. It took me 2 years to ask Xander why he voted me out. 2 years just to say, hey man, what you do? And when he gave the response, it took me back to that same day and that same moment that I got voted out. Because you really don't want to do that interview at the end. When we do the interview, we like, oh, I really ain't got nothing to say to y'all right now. I really just want to go and be by myself. But we get the opportunity to play a great game, and then when we get a chance to reflect on it, we really kind of understand and appreciate the opportunity. Because 18 people are going to get voted out. 17 people are going to get voted out. There's going to be one winner, but we all get to live their adventure. So remember that, Josh, when you get out there, we get a real, now I'm not saying, and I'm not recommending for people that go out there and play the game. I would like to see somebody just tackle somebody. You voted me out. Not recommending that. I don't ever want to see nobody do it, but I would, Jake, I'm like you. I would just like to see a little one time. Just one time. Don't hurt me.
Nudge, like shoulder bump.
Read the contract.
How crazy is it that no one's been punched in the face on this show? This show's been on for 47 seasons. No one's got punched in the face.
Old school, I think they got taken down. Old school got some bitter walk-offs. They was if you go back and look at them, I think there's a YouTube video on the actual tribal who had the worst or something. It's crazy because some people said a lot of good stuff, but ultimately, I'm not recommending it. But if you do it, I'm gonna look.
Listen, I don't want to mess with my money. I'm gonna get you later.
Read your contract. Make sure you remember your contract, Josh. Remember your contract.
Will do.
So
we got our own. What you saying? We got a fan question. Let's get that in there real quick. Bam, there you go. It's Tedworth, our own survivor.
Hey, what up, Ted?
That's a good question. Do you think there's been anyone who took too much time when they got voted out and Jeff had to hurry them along? I mean, I don't know. It's not like it's Big
We don't
Brother
care
where
about
they're
Jeff
on
when we
live
get voted out.
TV. You know? Yeah. Like like is he on a schedule or anything? The one thing I think of Drea from season 42 was she was like, giving all her little like speech and like talking to everybody and like making a whole charade of it, and it was fun. It was entertaining. But I wonder if that is a case where Jeff's like, all right, you gotta like,
that's why they got edit buttons. They don't know what footage is going to be the best footage. So at the end of the day, they don't care. They just sit out there with Survivor Social. Tune in. Here's the thing: they can edit anything.
Let them cook. Let them cook. Let them have their reaction.
You see, the one that's memorable is the one that the player kissed Jeff on the way out.
Dawson from Philippines. She kissed him on the cheek. There's other people who like want to like give Jeff a hug or anything like that. Yeah. Or there's other people who like stop and then have things to say to everyone like after Jeff snuffs the torch. There have been a few of those over the years, but I don't think anything too dramatic.
I remember hearing a story about like in Cambodia when Shireen got voted out, like she turned around and said Terry has an idol, and there was a reaction that just didn't make the edit.
It's one of the things that Jeff does. I think he gives you the ability to keep your stage. You have a stage at that moment in time because you know that you're going to turn on and walk down and thing. Because if you think back to I just watched it. When he snuffs the torch, he turns around, he takes the snuffer, and he puts it to the side, and he walks away. He's out of the shot. Like he literally physically walks away and gives you the ability to turn at everybody and be like, say what you want to say if you want to say something. And when she looked at everybody and they waved, Jeff wasn't even in sight. And she's like, nah, and walked away. So I think he does that. I think he gives you the ability to say what you want to say at that moment in time because you can't. It's good TV. First off, you're cursing everybody out, and if they want to put it on there, but once you're snuffed, I think he gives you the time. I
think for me, the only reason I didn't say more is I was exhausted. I was literally. It was late. As a viewer, you just don't realize how late it is. It's late. We had a long day. There's some things that happen in between as far as how we do stuff. And I'm just exhausted. Thinking that I'm just going to go back to the hut and lay down. Didn't realize I was going back to Ponderosa and laying down. But it's a surreal feeling. The good thing about it is in a sense that it is somebody they're waiting for. I don't know how they did it for y'all season, but it is somebody on the pier waiting for. And in about a year or two, you'll get over that. Yeah. Not that moment. You're not gonna get over it in that moment. In about a year or two, you get over it. I'm still sitting at that pier mad every day. So we got 40. This is episode 5. We saw a lot of interesting dynamics with chickens and eggs and new twists. Here's a big question: who's going home next episode? Who you got, Bruce?
There's a couple of people that could be going home. Low-hanging fruit-wise, from what I see, Andy could be one that's going home. I could see potentially Rachel. Rachel might get a little bit of smoke if they get together and some people aren't driving what's going on. That could be a possibility with Rachel. And then Sierra and Sam. They might want to break that up, because it's perceived already. It's already out there. It's already perceived that there's a little showmance going on and they're running the roost. One of those two might go home. We'll see.
Do we really think that's the showmance that they're portraying?
Nah.
I don't think so, but
they both have
perception is reality out there. You know that.
Yeah, and everyone knows that they're a tight duo. They're together. Yeah, so they could definitely see that. As a threat to break up. I'm with Bruce. I think Rachel could be in trouble just having gotten left out of that vote, so it might just be the easy thing to get to let loose. Andy maybe too, or Tiana, because like we said earlier, she might be in trouble because of what happened at the social hour. I mean, but as long as it's not Caroline, she's my last draft pick left since Annika left. Draft team's not looking too hot. Just need to get that in there. Annika, she was great. Don't regret it at all. wish she lasted
Look.
longer. So yeah, as long as it's not Carolina, I'll live to see another day.
You can never win the first time anyway, so that's okay.
I don't know.
I'm a two-time winner. I'm a
I
two-time
feel
winner.
like this was a good episode for Caroline. We'll see how
It's
it
really
goes
good
there.
episode, Carolina.
Yeah. So I feel
Let's
good
get
about
it.
that one.
Hey, take us home, Jake.
Oh, who do I think is going to go next? Yeah, right.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of already been said. Low hanging fruit. Rachel was just blindsided. Tiana's not going to go home next episode, and it's because she's my winner pick. So I'm pretty confident that's not going to happen. And then looking at Red Labo Tribe, I think Tini is the first person people would want to say, just using that logic of like the low hanging fruit. Yeah. But I don't think that's where Tini is. I think they will be able to put themselves back in a good spot. I don't think it'll be Tini. So I don't think so either. I'm looking at Rachel and Tiana, but I'm not looking at Tiana just because Tiana's going to win. Sorry, Rachel. So I guess Rachel is my guess.
Yeah, that little mergatory, one more person got to get booted out, but you kind of sort of merge. It's going to be interesting next week. Well, hey, everybody tune in next week for another episode of Survivor. This is us signing off. Thank everybody for tuning in, and thanks for your questions.